السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, we are continuing in reflecting on the surah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed with the order, or on the order of how it was revealed or when it was revealed. And we talked about many times about the benefit of that is to know what to do, and the clarity of matching the ayat with the events that happens to us, happen to the ummah as an individual or a nation or the whole universe. Example of that is what we've been talking so far about, that the first stage that these surahs came, Surah Al-Alaq, okay, and the first surah that was revealed, and then Surah Al-Qalam, and then Surah Al-Muzammil, and then Al-Muddathir. All of these surahs came down very early, one after the other, in this order, in the most of opinions. And the purpose is to establish the Muslim, the individual, and the thinking of what a Muslim is. So it was about the ta'sis, about al-asas, with the foundation, about putting a foundation. And then when this foundation is solid, then other things would be brought to put in the foundation that is there. So the first period, the period of putting the foundation, is the first period of Mecca. And then there is the middle of Mecca time, and then the end of the Mecca time, right? It has a different mood, if you will, okay? That is, the first is to establish, and then second is to see the future, and it is not what you should really be doing, but what you shouldn't really be doing at the beginning, right? And then the preparation to move, the third period of Mecca, the preparation so you can go from this to living on your own with a surrounding that has nothing to do with oppression on you anymore in a society, and you'll be able to implement what now the first period of the Medina time. They would just, now you're getting the how to, okay? First it is the why, but now it is the how. So now, and then the middle of the Medina period, okay? And then at the end of the Medina period, again, the theme changes, a little by little, until you see it clearly, until we see it clearly. That example, again, the first revelations that we went on so far, it is not about doing something in particular, but general. But it is clear, saying, stay away from what's going on. Meaning that what you will be getting something very special, so special that cannot be mixed with anything else. These ideas. Yeah, you're still there, you're still among the people, or talking and walking and so forth, but you need to make a hijrah, وَالرُّجْزَ فَهْجُرْ, okay? That stay away, make a hijrah between all the filth that is around. You stay away from it. Okay? So the Muslims started to understand that we are Muslims. We're not kafirs. We're not other ways, people, Christians and Jews and so forth. We are Muslims. Now when we say Muslim, we say, okay, but at the time, can you imagine you hearing that? And so far, this word is not mentioned so far, right? In the ayat that we've been reflecting on. It is like the idea itself that you are connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Eventually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say you are Muslims. Now those who are around Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they call themselves, we are Muslims. Okay? It is something new. And at the same time, it's something very old. It's not new. Then they realize all of this is the same since the time of Adam alayhi salam. So now that gives energy to hold on to what you have to hold on to. Okay? More and more. Especially when you get in a revelation at the time as you are living with the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So it is the negation of La ilaha and then illallah. Okay? The negation of there is no God to be worshipped except. In other words, it is letting go with things before you start holding on to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Or while you're doing that. And while you're doing that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not give you too much to do right now. But He's telling you what you should be staying away from. And that is very profound. Okay? So, the dose is coming little by little. Right? The dose is coming little by little. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not right away tell you, there is a war between you and shaitan, and shaitan is doing this, and shaitan did that, and so forth, and you have... No. Okay? Eventually you'll get all this information. Okay? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you certain things you have to be aware of. What is it so far? Very simple and straightforward. That you are connected with Allah whether you like it or not. Meaning that you are, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is your caretaker. But then it is your choice to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not. So you have to make this move. But in order for you to do that, or while you're doing that, there's a lot of things the society is going to be pushing you away from this. So you need to be aware of this dynamic, and you need not to obey. So it is how to clean up where you are from the inside and all around you with what you can. وَثِيَابَكَ فَطَهِّرْ. Okay? That purify yourself, purify your clothes, and literally and spiritually, and okay? So it is how to see now the filth, and that which has something to do, anything to do with disobeying or obeying something beside Allah, connecting with something beside Allah. It is La ilaha. There is no God except Allah. So you need to reject all the aliha and all the ideas about the aliha, the deities, and everything that this system produces. You need to be clear that they have nothing to do with that. That is the theme. But while this theme is going on, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala establishes personalities and systems. Okay? The one who first tell Rasulullah sallam, do not make sujood, try to prevent Rasulullah sallam from the sujood. La tuti'ahu wasjud waqtarib. Do not obey him and make the sujood. Okay? The other, okay, that is mukadhibeen, okay, the one that deniers, okay, and how the deniers are coming strong and refusing, but then there is some who their standard was a little bit different. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, remember the story of the garden, okay, and the story and the information about Yunus alayhi salam, And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, be patient and do not be like Yunus alayhi salam. Okay? So telling us about what is going on and what will be coming. Okay? Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this surah, Surah Al-Muddathir, that we are in it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam the steps and how to, in application of giving the da'wah. Okay? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about those who are standing against the da'wah. And those who are standing against the da'wah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us how clever they are. Okay? How, if they want to be effective against Islam, they will pick the best among them. Okay? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us who was the best at the time and came around. And everybody was looking forward to what he's going to say. How he's going to evaluate Islam and Muslims. Right? And he evaluated in a way that is clear, okay, but vague at the same time. In huwa illa sihrun yu'thar. It is sihr, because he could not say anything else. Remember before when they said that he is a majnoon, crazy, in Surah Al-Qalam, what did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answer? Ma anta bi ni'mati rabbika bi majnoon. By the bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on you, you're not crazy. In other words, you people saying that he's crazy and he has the best of manners. But you said that he has the best of manners first. Now you're saying he's crazy. But you still he's saying that he has the best of manners. Those two cannot match. Okay? So this is nonsense. So he heard this and he knows that if he says something doesn't make sense, it is, somebody's going to come back and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will talk about it and see how, silly that he's saying is. So what does he come up with? He comes up with the media. He comes up with the media. Okay. What is the media in this? He himself, okay, announcing that he's going to go and do something about this. And he's going to evaluate it. And since all of you, Meccans, look up to me, and you know me, how eloquent in poetry I am, and how, dignified I am, and my family, and my wealth, and all of this cannot be, out of nothing. I must be something that is someone that to be trusted and to be listened to. All of this is going on. And then he had to put the show. Okay? What is the show? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the show that he put. إِنَّهُ فَكَّرَ وَقَدَّرَ. Okay? He thought and measured. But that could be inside only. He's just sitting there thinking. No, it is. That is, إنه فكر فقدر فقتل كيف قدر ثم قتل كيف قدر ثم نظر. Then may he perish because of the measurement that he said. And then ثم نظر. Then he looked. ثم عبس. So he frowned. Okay? وبس. So the point is, all of this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describing it, and all of the people, those who were around, they say that and they look at that. That is a show. That is a media. And then what did he come up with? Something very clever. Okay, something that is, use the word sihr, magic. And what is magic? Something that takes you in and you cannot figure it out. Okay? You cannot figure it out. Something happened in front of you that you cannot figure it out, and it's amazing. Okay? So it is sihr. Okay? But then yu'thar. Because they know it is not sihr. Right? It is not sihr. Though it's not magic. Okay? Because it is clarity. Okay? Sihr, it is something that you cannot decipher. Okay? You cannot figure out. But the Quran is something that is very clear and you can figure it out. So it is not sihr. You cannot say it is sihr, right? So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so far the ayat that came down, the surahs that came down, very clear, okay? And the matter is, for them, it is so amazing at the same time. We talked about how Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he spoke, there were those who said, stop, repeat, stop, repeat, say that again. Because how these words are put together, and how the maximum you get, or the precision that of the words to get a meaning, that there is no other word that you put in there that you could put in there to get the same meaning. The Arabs knew this. Okay, Al-Walid ibn Mughira, who's that person, he knew this. Okay, and inshallah, the surah that's coming after that is Surah Al-Fatiha. That in it is so clear, that the eloquence of the words, where it is to get a specific meaning, okay, that it becomes Ummul Kitab, the mother of the book, meaning it is the Quran, okay. So he said sihr, but at the same time people do not see it as sihr. So he said yu'thar, meaning yu'thar here mean that it has an effect, or also it has a trace, meaning you can trace it back. But he does not tell you trace it back to whom and where. Okay? Now it is his show, it will have an effect. That he is specialized in this. He is honorable. He can tell you what you do not know and just believe him. Right? So this is sihr, yes, because you are captivated. But how do you figure it is sihr? Yes, you don't know where is the trace, but I know that it has a touch of the past. Okay, it is coming from the past. Okay, so he's being clever like that. So now, what to do with this? So far, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, remember, we're talking about at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and our time and all times. We're talking about a sickness and a remedy, a difficulties and a solutions. Okay? How to make tanzeel, how to bring the Quran on a situation, to bring ayat on situations that's happening to us, or to me as an individual, or my family, or the community, or the world, and so forth. Okay? We're looking at prescriptions. Okay? So now, how do you deal with that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala introduced us to something new so far in the ayat, in the surahs that we talked about so far, that came down so far, which is al-ghaib, the unseen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring the unseen very strong in this. It is not gradual. Okay? It is, and it came, the first time it came when? In the first surah, Surah Al-Alaq. It came very strong. And it was shocking to those who are listening to it. Okay? What is the shocking in it? The man who is, telling Rasulullah to make sujood and giving a difficulty to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to him. Okay? Talking about him. Not to him. He is in the third person. Okay? فَلْيَدْعُ, let him, فَلْيَدْعُ نَادِيَهُ, let him call his nadi, and those that he can get, those that are around him, those who sit around and discuss things, those who can back him up and stand by him. Okay, فَلْيَدْعُ نَادِيَهُ, get anything and everything and whatever it is you can bring. Okay, now what do you want to hear? Okay, what are we going to do? He's going to call this and that. What are we going to do? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about himself subhanahu wa ta'ala. سَنَدْعُ الزَّبَانِيَةِ, we will call the angels of hellfire. Okay, now you hear this, it is something new. Okay, it is something that at that time it seems like a tale of the old, or it became, something to scare the children with, or you understand, it is not something solid here. It is the unseen. But the first time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about the unseen, about the punishment, and about taking care of the believer against the disbelievers. Okay? سَنَدْعُ الزَّبَانِيَّةِ. We will call the angels of hellfire. And in this one as well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking now about hellfire, okay, in some details. So after he فكر وقدر فقتل كيف قدر ثم نظر ثم عبس وبصر ثم أدبر واستكبر فقال إن هذا إلا سحر يؤثر, and of all what he did and so forth. Okay, what did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? And by the way, there are sayings about what he said when he came back first. Another word, when he sat around with those who are planning this and in the game, they are in the game with him. When he went back and talked with them, he told them, this is amazing. It is so beautiful. It is something we've never heard before. And it is يعلى ولا يعلى عليه. It goes high and nothing will go higher than it. And you look at the roots of it, that is so strong in foundation. You look at the fruits of it, it is so fruitful and beneficial. He wrote poetry, said poetry about the Quran. Okay? But then, he went with his show after that. So after all of this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about him. سَأُصْلِيهِ سَقَرَ. I will let him burn in the blazing Saqar. Saqar is وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا سَقَرَ. What do you know about Saqar? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking this question. Okay, before anybody else will ask it. What is Saqar? وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا سَقَرَ. Okay, so now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell us some about Saqar. Okay, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell us about certain information about it and talk about a category of people. The people of the book, the believers, those who are sick in heart, and those who are disbelievers. Okay? This is what that category that Allah will describe during these ayat. Okay? The people of the book, okay? The believers, then those who are sick in the heart, and the disbelievers. Okay? آل الكتاب المؤمنين الذي في قلبه مرض والكافرين. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to be talking about and how they react to this. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying سأصليه سقر وما أدراك ما سقر. Okay, what do you know about سقر? لا تبقي ولا تذر. Okay, لواحة للبشر. Okay, عليها 19. And how the ayat is small and not long at the end, right? Okay, سقر لا تبقي ولا تذر لواحة للبشر عليها 19. Okay, now what is لا تبقي ولا تذر? تبقي, something that's baqa, meaning to stay, left over. Tadhar, to left, all together. La tadhar does not leave. La tubqi is nothing left over afterwards. Okay? That is the first impression. When it comes, it's going to come. Okay? It's fierce. It's fierce. It's going to come and destroy everything. But yet nothing really destroyed, meaning that it will have an effect, a severe effect. Those are in it that is, they wish to be destroyed, that will not be destroyed. They will still existing. So their existence is not going to be an existence, and it's not going to be a non-existence. Okay, that is the impression you get. Okay? لواحة للبشر. It comes in, when could have more than one meaning. Meaning is that you could see it, and you'll be able to see it. If you are, a human being, you'll be able to see it. But also, it is more like what it is as what a fire will be. When you get very close to the fire, but at the same time the fire does not touch you, but the heat will come in and burn the hair in your hand, or in your face, or touch your clothes, and you can feel your skin, okay, quickly like that. That is, we'd have that impression. لواحة للبشر. Okay? That it is لا تبقي ولا تذر, and also لواحة للبشر. Okay? So that is a feeling that you get, and an understanding that you get. Remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here describes the unseen. Okay? And to describe the unseen is difficult, because if something that you've never seen before, then how it is described to you? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for example, in Jannah, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam tells us that in a part of the Jannah, for those who are special, that there is no eyes have ever seen, no ear have ever heard, no heart have ever imagined. In other words, there is no description now that Allah can give you, Allah will give you, okay? But below that place in Jannah, Allah will give you some similarity so you could understand. But everything that Allah tells you about it, okay, it is to make you understand what it is. But when you get there, you know that it is, you will know. That's the only time, okay? So, when you describe something, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes describes something with something that you do not know, with something that you do not know. Right? Now, how are you going to do that? How are you going to describe something that is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you about something al-ghayb, something you don't know. And the way Allah describes it will tell you about something that you do not know. And it works. Okay, why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows us, and He gives us words that gives an impression to you. Okay, example of that is the tree of Zaqqum in hellfire. Okay, that is a tree in hellfire that has fruit. Okay, now it's a tree. What a tree comes to your mind? A tree. Okay, you can say bad, it's evil, this guy, okay, right? And it has fruits. Okay, so fruits. But you take this fruit and it will get stuck in your throat. That's information, right? Shajaratul Zaqqum. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, طَلْعُهَا كَرُؤُوسِ الشَّيَاطِينَ. That is the fruit of it like the heads of shaitan. Now you are affected. Even though you never seen shaitan. You've never seen shaitan. And Allah describes, you've never seen the tree. But you know what the word shaitan is. And you know what devil is. And the descriptions. So everyone has a picture in their mind with the devil, shaitan. Different than the other. In other words, someone can have a picture that's so disgusting to shaitan's head, but it's not disgusting to another person. That picture does not discuss the other person. But the other person has a picture of shaitan that disgusses him. Right? So not having it clear is to make it clear. Okay? For every individual. Okay? طَلْعُهَا كَرُؤُوسِ الشَّيَاطِينَ. That the fruit of it is like the heads of shayateen. And everybody, you get the feeling. Okay? And that's what they're going to eat. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes the believers there quickly and takes the disbelievers there quickly. Quickly meaning the very early stage. And the direction that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to do, Ya ayyuha al-muzammil, Okay? يا أيها المدثر قم فأنذر. So stand up and give warning. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the warning first. Okay? The warning first. Again, it is about what you should be leaving. And there is something that you should fear. So you stay away from what you should not get close to and so forth. Right? So here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, لا تبقي ولا تذر. Okay? Now, what is the fitna now that is come? لواحة للبشر, it's a feeling that you get from the description about the extreme heat. Okay, still a person is not touching the fire, but the extreme heat can actually peel the skin away immediately. That is the impression that you get. Okay, عليها 19. It has on it 19. Okay, now what is that? Okay, so what is 19? And why 19? Why not a number before and after, or less or more? And why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give a number? There are many whys now. And that is the fitna now. وَمَا جَعَلْنَا أَصْحَابَ النَّارِ إِلَّا مَلَائِكَةً. We did not make the companion of hellfire except angels. So the 19 here are angels. So now, like, Abu Jahl, when he heard this, so now it is time to have a mockery now. So he comes up, he says, there is zaqum, okay, that's stuck in your throat. I think this is the date that we have a special date with the butter, the special butter. When you mix the date with the butter and put it, it is so sweet, it's stuck in your throat, right? Okay. And then says, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam says 19. Okay. I can take maybe 15 and you guys can take the other 4 or something like that, gives a number. Or maybe, okay, 1 to 1, okay. Or maybe you can get more if they are really strong. They start coming up with this. Okay. And that is the purpose for this. Okay. All of this comes up. Okay. And this, they think that that they can take they take steps forward against. Now they found something that they can talk about. They found a fault and so forth. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is bringing them in. So now this fitna, okay, وَمَا جَعَلْنَا أَصْحَابَ النَّارَ إِلَّا مَلَائِكَةً وَمَا جَعَلْنَا عِدَّتَهُمْ إِلَّا فِتْنَةً لِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. We did not make this number except fitna for those disbelievers, for the disbelievers. That is one reason. The disbelievers, fitna for them. Now, when sometimes Muslims fall into dwelling in that which you should not really dwell in, okay, and try to be, obsessed with something and take you in the direction you should not really go, which is these numbers, okay, and how there's one person, okay, he, a few years ago, took this seriously and started applying it on the Quran. Okay, and it says the wonders of the Quran, the miracles. This is 19. Then it has to be a miracle. So he takes it, and you could look at the ayat of the Quran. Every surah is divisible by 19, and every so and so, and every verse of this, the 19 is involved in many things. And he goes to every surah and do that. And people come around him, wow, this and that. And then he comes to one surah, does not. It does not calculate as he expected. Right? All of a sudden, one surah, you cannot divide it on 19. The ayat, number of ayat. So what do you think what he reached now? He said, then something changed in this. What? Where are you going with this? Now he tried to manipulate this so it could be, or something now is missing. Okay, again, this is fitna. This is fitna. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that this number is a fitna for those who are disbelievers. Okay. وَلِيَسْتَيْقِنَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابِ وَيَزْدَادَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِيمَانًا. And for the people of the book to increase in their iman, become certain in what they have, and from the believers to strengthen their iman. So you have one information takes people astray and gives certainty and to others, firmness to others. The people of the book, they had information about hellfire and so forth and so on, and they are mentioned like this within their books and so forth. So now, when this ayat comes in, describing hellfire and gives you the numbers and so forth, that is, now they say, oh, this is like what mentioned in our book. Okay? And then the believers, yes, this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He is with us. ذَرُونِي, okay, وَمَنْ يُكَذِّبُ بِهَذَا الْحَدِيثِ, okay, let me be with the one that denied this hadith. Okay. ذَرْنِي وَمَنْ يُكَذِّبُ بهذا نعم ومن خلقت وحيدا ذرني ومن خلقت وحيدا. Leave me be with the one that I created that by himself, meaning the one who was saying all of this, and this ayat coming confirming what he said and what he refused and so forth. So now the believers have a strength in this. Okay. ولا يرتاب الذين أوتوا الكتاب, okay, والمؤمنون, and the people of the book and the believers, they have no riba, meaning no doubts. They have no doubts. The doubts are gone. This dynamic that they see was happening, the description that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given, the firmness that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the believers, and the ayat that is coming down before and after, yes, they have no doubt in this. It gives them strength. Okay. وَلِيَقُولَ الَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ مَرَضٌ وَالْكَافِرُونَ ماذا أراد الله بهذا مثلا. And for the people who are sick in their heart, who are they now? What categories? See, now it is a little vague. You can put this in any categories, even those who are believers. Okay? But they are sick in their heart. Okay? Or disbelievers who are sick in their heart. But the disbeliever, you cannot say, something fault about the disbeliever more than the disbelief, right? If you say a kafir, that's enough. You could say he is bad in this, bad in this. Kufr is great enough to anything else will be under it. It doesn't matter. So what is the people who their heart have disease in their heart? Okay? And the disbeliever, ماذا أراد الله بهذا مثلا? What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives this method, gives this information? Okay? Why is this? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not the one who's asked, but we are the one who's going to be asked. There's something that only one with a weak heart and a diseased heart will do this. Okay? They start asking questions about why Allah is saying this, why Allah is that, in a way of doubt, not in a way of investigation. Investigation meaning for the sake of obedience to Allah, right? There is a difference between asking a question on your path to Allah so you can improve your path to Allah, and asking a question to make it a condition if you go on this path anymore or not. There is a huge difference. That is the difference between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying to the companions, do not ask Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And then when we hear them asking Allah, report their question. يسألونك عن ذي يسألونك عن الأهلة يسألونك عن المحيض يسألونك ماذا ينفقون يسألونك, you ask about this, you ask about this, you ask about that. But Allah said, do not ask. meaning do not ask in a way of doubt or insisting of an answer when the answer is not quite given. But when you are told to do something and you're asking about it, no problem. Go ahead and ask, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers them. They ask and they answer, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers them, meaning there is an allowance for that. So those who are, again, sick in their heart, and so here is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell us that there is a disease, diseases of the heart that will come up. Okay? What is the basic disease of the heart? Is that this ability of making submission, of submitting to Allah. That is the disease. In what degree and so forth? It has different degrees. You know, it can come to us as believers of not quite implementing, you know, what we should do, and we can do from A to Z and we're making A to C or something, right? Not quite being able this. There is an improvement that needs to be taken, okay? To the point also a disease that a person will not submit, and to the point of doubt, okay? Now the refusal of submission will take one out of Islam. Okay, so here's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, وَلِيَقُولَ الَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ مَرَضٌ وَالْكَافِرُونَ ماذا أراد الله بهذا مثلا كذلك يضل الله. Okay, like that Allah will take people astray. Like that. Like what? Like what Allah just mentioned. He will put you something in there that you cannot decipher, and you scratch your head, and what are you going to do? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us eventually that's kullu min inda rabbina. Those who have strength of their iman and so forth, and with the knowledge, kullu min inda rabbina. That is all from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether I get it or I don't get it, it doesn't matter, right? It is, my belief is not conditioned on if this makes sense or not. To the point that some scholars are so sensitive. Remember when we talk about the Quran, we say al-aql wal-naql, and we say the intellect and the text. Some scholars, they say you should not even use the word text. Okay? Even sensitive to that. But instead of saying text, it's saying what Allah said. Okay? Because what Allah said, it is only that. But the text, it is something less than that, or could be less than that. We know what you mean. We know that you're saying the word of Allah, but say it. Okay? It becomes sensitive to that point. Okay? So, that how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take people astray. And like that Allah will take whoever He wishes astray. يضل من يشاء ويهدي من يشاء وما يعلم جنود ربك إلا هو وما هي إلا ذكرى للبشر. That no one knows the soldier of Allah except Allah, and it is nothing except ذكرى للبشر. Okay, it is a reminder for you, just a reminder. Okay, what is a reminder? Here, look at this ayat now as a believer. Allah says this is the one who wants guidance will be guided through it. The one who is on the verge of misguidance and thinking about and want to be misguided, they will be misguided. Okay, but this is zikra lil bashar, to human being. To human being, meaning a reminder to human being, meaning a reminder for those who want to go astray, who want to stand and fight with the one that created you, okay, and the one that who is submitting to you, Allah. Both, it is a reminder for both. Again, it is a mind. It is so beautiful, and maybe beautiful is not the right word. So magnificent, if you will, the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. that creates a being that has a choice. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him the ability to argue with Allah. And gave him the ability to submit to Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so powerful that that being have no power whatsoever. And whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decide will go. It just, when you think about it like that, here is, you are an infant, do not know anything, okay? And you start crawling, now you're touching things, now you're recognizing things, now you're walking up, right? Now you can understand things, now you can be somewhat independent, you can actually pick something on your own up, okay? You think you have power now? And the first thing because I can do it, right? I can do it. Yes, he's feeling with his independent to the point that becomes adult, and now he's thinking and able to decipher things, and now he stands and listens to the words of Allah and then argues about it. Okay? But at the same time, they can submit and surrender to Allah. That is the being that magnifies the love of Allah. The relationship of love between human being and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is magnified in this. Okay? The angels are not like that. The angels, سمعنا وأطعنا, they cannot disobey. Okay? يفعلون ما يؤمرون. They are doing what they are commanded to do. But this being here, that can argue and so forth, submits to Allah, it's only because he sees the magnificence of Allah. Because he sees the wonders of the creation, the attributes of Allah that is so manifested in the whole creation. Okay? That is love. That's a relationship that is so special. And when we think about it this way, we see I don't want to say use the word beauty, I was going to say the magnificence of what happens when you sin, when you do something bad, and you realize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is your caretaker and the one that you run to, and you run to Allah. How beautiful that is. How beautiful that is that you realize that you fall and you shouldn't have done this, you shouldn't have thought that, whatever it is, and you run into Allah, the one you disobeyed, and you know that the only way, okay, to run from Allah, the only place to run from Allah to is Allah, right? That is special relationship. Now we understand when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say that if everybody on earth no sins at all, Allah will take them all and bring people that can sin and ask for forgiveness, Allah will forgive them. Because that is bringing an attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to realization. Bringing that idea of love and care to realization. Okay? So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Kalla wal qamar. No here is kalla, not just la, but kalla. Kalla means in English you would say no way, not just no. No will be no, yani la. No will be la. But no way, kalla. Like after all of this, okay, and you do this, after the clarity of this, and this is what you do, after the impression that you get, and you know this now, and the clarity of the matter is so clear to you, and you do this, now we're going to come and do what? No, kalla wal qamar. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears. Okay? Now here's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showing us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will swear. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears, Allah can swear with anything of His creation. Okay? And all His creation is magnificence because He is the one who created it. So there is a magnificence and an awe in everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created. Okay? So, كَلَّا وَالْقَمَرِ, no, and by the moon, وَاللَّيْلِ إِذْ أَدْبَرَ. Okay? Okay, كَلَّا وَالْقَمَرِ وَاللَّيْلِ إِذْ أَدْبَرَ والصبح إذا أسفر إنها لإحدى الكبر نذيرا للبشر. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, no, by and you look at the movement now of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is swearing by. The moon. When is the moon? Is at night. And what does the moon do? It gives you some light. Okay. كَلَّا وَالْقَمَرِ. And then وَاللَّيْلِ إِذْ أَدْبَرَ. And by the night as it goes away. And by the day as it comes so bright. So by the moon, and by the night when it goes away, and by the day when it becomes clear and makes everything clear. This is what Allah swears by. Allah swears by. And what does Allah swears on? إِنَّهَا لَإِحْدَى الْكُبَرِ نَذِيرًا لِلْبَشَرِ. It is one of the greatness, one of the greatest of the greatness that's going on. Okay? That is warning for everybody. Now, what is this theme that you were looking at? A theme of darkness, some light, then a little bit the light is going away, the night is going away, and the light is bright. Now everything is clear. So it is from something that is not clear to the clarity of things. That has no doubt. This is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us example of now. Okay. This matter is becoming clearer, and it will become clearer. And it is all of this, it is nadhir. Again, قُمْ فَأَنذِرْ. Okay, so this clarity is coming from whom? For those who have a choice. Because everything else that does not have a choice, they know this already. They have the clarity already. But you, because you're a person who can cause harm or bring benefit, you can obey or disobey, you need some guidance. And here it is the guidance coming through the clarity of the matter, the clarity of the message, and the clarity of the words, the clarity of the goals and objectives and everything, the clarity of where we're coming from, what this is about and where it is going, the clarity of the punishment that is coming, okay? The clarity of the warnings of what you should stay away from, okay? The clarity of who you should be connected with all the time, because you are connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without a choice. So you should be connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a choice. The kafir or a believer connected with Allah all the time without a choice. But a believer chooses to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the ta'ah, with the obedience. That this believer is disconnecting with Allah, try to disconnect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he can't. But he has the impression that he is disconnected. Okay? But let him be sick, or let him not be sick. Let him not be this and that. Let him protect himself from this and that. Okay, show your control here when you trip and fall in your face. And on and on and on. Okay. لمن شاء أن يتقدم أو يتأخر. It is all of this for anyone among those who have choices to go forward or to go back. That's it. You want to go forward? You go forward. You want to go back? You go back. Here is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is introducing this message with the clarity and being very clear in reward and punishment, hellfire. And the reward is not quite mentioned yet. right? Here is the reward, and the word will come now, right? A taste of the reward. Okay, but it is the warning is coming first. Okay, the strength of the punishment is being mentioned. So after this clarity, what are you going to do? You're going to go forward, or you're going to go back? لمن شاء, whoever he wishes. لمن شاء أن يتقدم أو يتأخر. Okay. كل نفس بما كسبت رهينة. Now Allah states a fact that we do not know. We have to be told that fact. Now we know it because it's coming from the saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, from news coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. كل نفس, every nafs, بما كسبت, with that which it earns, رهينة. What is رهينة? Rahn is what is the word in English? Rahn, when you take something and you leave a deposit, pawn. Jazakallah khair. Not pledge.
It's like a pawn shop.
Yes. Something. Yes, exactly like you leaving this here. You borrowing something and you leaving something for collateral. Yes, like a pawn. Yes, exactly. بما كسبت رهينة. Okay, is everyone like that? Everyone is like that? Like, your soul is there. You yourself is okay, rahin with what you earned, and then the day of judgment you will come, and we'll see, is this what you bring in now is going to let you go or not? The exchange is going to go back. What you're going to free yourself with. Okay, is it worth it? Is it enough to free you or not? That is, you hear that and you are, كل نفس, every nafs, بما كسبت رهينة. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes an exception. إلا أصحاب اليمين. Except, okay, those who are the believers. Okay, the believers. So what happened to the believers? Are they going to be not? No, they're going to skip that. Really? You're not going to be going through this? No. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to Aisha radiallahu anha, من نوقش الحساب, okay? The one who is nuqish al-hisab. Al-hisab is the accountability and the judgment. The one who that he comes into the discussion of his deeds, he's lost. Okay? He's lost. Another word, when someone stops by and all his deeds are there, and now the angels and now the person is going to go through deed by deed what you did and this and that. If this happens, the one is losing. Khalas. Then Aisha radiallahu anha said, Ya Rasulullah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the one who gives an atom weight of good deed will see, and the atom weight of bad deed will see, okay? So everybody will go through this. So like there is a contradiction between the Quran and the Sunnah and the Hadith. She is saying, or she's saying that to understand, right? If you're saying that if somebody stands to be accountable for his deeds, he's gone. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said everyone, an atom weight will be counted. So how are we going to do this, put this with this? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Ya Aisha, ذلك العرض. Aisha, this is the ard. Ard is not niqash. Niqash, it is when you argue tit for a tat and so forth. But ard is just presentation. Like come in, right? And you're coming in with whatever it is that you have from the deeds, go. You're not going to stand there and tit for that specifics. You're not going to go through specifics. Okay? So here's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, except the believers. Okay. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the taste, but not so details. في جنات يتساءلون. They are in jannat, in gardens, they are asking one another. Okay, they are having a discussion. Okay. It is just, it is overwhelming to see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala presented first, the warnings before the glad tidings, the details of the warning. Of course, the generality is there, but the details, Allah started with the punishment. Okay, that is the sensitivity of a believer has to be there all the time. That a person could be punished. I could be punished because of such and such and such. Okay? Yes, the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there, but the fear also has to be there. يَتَسَاءَلُونَ. Okay? What are they asking about? Okay? Those who are in Saqar. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes what was happening at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and puts it the same scene at the hereafter. Now imagine that. Now those who are listening to this from both sides, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the companion listening to this, and the disbelievers and those who are fighting Islam is listening to this, and now it is a discussion here and there, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes the same groups, exactly just move them into the hereafter. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us what's going to happen there. Okay? So you guys doing this here? This is what's going to be happening there. What the believers are going to say, مَا سَلَكَكُمْ فِي سَقَرٍ. What brought you to Saqar? Okay. Now what are they going to say? لَمْ نَكُمْ مِنَ الْمُصَلِّينَ. Huh? قالوا, they say, yes. They say, لَمْ نَكُمْ مِنَ الْمُصَلِّينَ. ولم نكن نطعم المسكين وكنا نخوض مع الخائضين وكنا نكذب بيوم الدين حتى أتانا اليقين. That is, okay, step by step. What time do we have? We have no, what time? Okay, 8:04. Okay. So what is the first thing now they're going to admit? Okay, now they're going to say what was going on and what is going on now, and they regret. لم نكن من المصلين. Okay, here is subhanallah. Here it is. It is short. لم نكن نكن. Okay, نكن. Okay. It could be nakunu, nakun, naku. Okay, only that. Okay, it is made very short here now. They're not speaking much. There is, okay, like the regret is so much. Okay, like when someone falls into something that the consequence of what they did. Okay, and you ask him, what happened? Right? So when someone is going to jail, for example, and you look at him and you know what he did, so what happened? And then he'll tell you, like, do I have to explain? Okay? But here is the explain. They are saying it in short, but in some details. Okay? The bullet points. Lam naku. We were not from what? Min al-musallin. We were not from among those who pray. Okay? We did not pray. We were among those who did not pray. Or we were not from among those who pray. Okay? Meaning we excluded ourselves from that group. Okay. وَلَمْ نَكُنْ نُطْعِمِ الْمِسْكِينَ. And we were not from among those, okay, or we did not give food to the needy. Okay. وَكُنَّا نَخُوضُ مَعَ الْخَائِضِينَ. And we were nakhud with those who are doing kha'idin. What is khawd? It is you dwell in that which you shouldn't dwell in. Okay? Khada means went deep in something. Went deep, kept going deep in something. So we got in that which we shouldn't really get into. What is it? Remember at the beginning, right? When the one who says this must be this must be that, right? You know, how come this, you said, okay, Saqar, 19, what is 19 and all of this, right? وَكُنَّا نَخُوضُ مَعَ الْخَائِضِينَ. We would go we find people discussing these things and we jump aboard and discuss these things with them and go deep in it when there is no sense. Remember the surah before when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Surah Al-Qalam, okay? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about, do you have anything to rely on, a book, a covenant, anything that you have? You have nothing. So why do you go into something that you don't know anything about? Okay? Do not go there. وَكُنَّا نَخُوضُ مَعَ الْخَائِضِينَ وَكُنَّا نُكَذِّبُ بِيَوْمِ الدِّينِ. And we were denying the day of judgment here. Okay? حَتَّى أَتَانَا الْيَقِينَ. Until yaqeen reached us. And yaqeen here meaning death. Okay? Yaqeen, absolute certainty with us in this life that we will meet before all other certainty is what? Death. Right? What is between us and al-ghaib? Death. When death comes, the ghaib will be un-ghaib, if that is a word. If it is not going, it's not going to be ghaib anymore. Right? At death comes, angels start appearing. That's it. Now you see a place in hellfire or in paradise. Now you go into the grave and the punishment or the reward in the grave. Garden of paradise or a pit of hellfire. All of the al-ghaib appear, but the beginning of it is death. Now, death is known for those who die and those who do not die or did not die. Right? So we all know about death. But some of us know more about it than others. The one who actually died know more of it. But the one did not die know that it is there. So that is yaqeen to us. This is absolute certainty. We're going to meet it, all of us. We're going to get there. Okay? So that is why it's called al-yaqeen. Okay? Absolute certainty. And instead of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, instead of this, they are saying, and we were like that until death came. No, they say we were like that until yaqeen came. No, until atana came to us, until yaqeen, absolute certainty reached us. That's how it is. Okay? Because they all agree that this is certainty. Okay? So now, what actually they are saying, before this yaqeen, this is how we behaved. And after the yaqeen came us, now we are in Saqar. Okay? And now who's watching them and talking to them and asking them? The mu'mineen, the believers, mu'minun, the believers. Where are they? They are in Jannah. يَتَسَاءَلُونَ. They're asking one another now. They have a conversation. Okay? That is the power and the yaqeen that Allah gives us when we are oppressed. Because at that time, remember, this is the time of at-ta'sis, putting a foundation, okay, and having the establishment of a foundation to build eventually on it what is going to be coming later on, okay. So that's establishing the foundation, and establishing it by giving us the strength and belief that here you are right now. You're being oppressed, but you know what is going to be happening later on. You will be in Jannah, inshallah, talking each other and talking to them, and this is the conversations that are going to happen. You know, our brothers and sisters who are being oppressed now, this is what they're going through. Okay? And that is what they talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about. And this is a conversation that we hear them talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about. Okay? And they have that strength of Iman. Okay? And you find their enemy is afraid of them, and they're not afraid of their enemy. Okay? The enemy can emotionally and mentally be disturbed and commit suicide. But they can be going through pain and suffering, but it's physical. There's a huge difference, right? Huge difference. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us examples of that in the past, of those who were being persecuted. A pits of fire was built for them and they were thrown in it and so forth. And how they stood firm of what they carried. Okay? And they were punished. Well, you see it as punishment. And this is where they're going. Where? To Jannah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala testified to that. And tell them that they are going into this promise. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, during that period of time, this ayat was going on. And Muslims were being, Yasir, okay, and his wife, okay, and their son Yasir. They were all being tortured, okay, and the wife died first. Asma died first, and then Yasir died second. Okay, and what Rasulullah ﷺ will pass by them and sees them being tortured. So what did Rasulullah ﷺ say? Al-Jannah, Al-Jannah, ala Yasir. Jannah, Jannah, people of Yasir. Meaning that the Jannah is awaiting for you. And they know and they believe in it and they're holding on to it. This is the effect of this ayat. Okay? This is the effect of this ayat. That when a Muslim holds on to this and see themselves into Jannah and sees their enemy into hellfire and see the reward of the submission, okay, that's it. They will not let go of it. And those who are non-Muslims who look at this, they either become impressed and want part of this, or being, the enemy of this. And again, it is a divine justice that has to be clear to all of us, and it will reach a believer and a disbeliever. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Please, if you'd like to make any comments, inshallah.
I want to say that we have 3 young brothers here on the brother side that join us today.
One of them needs some tissues. No.
Yes, he has allergies.
That 3 brothers joined us.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Who are the brothers? What's your name?
My name is Rayhan.
Rayhan, mashallah. Nice to see you, Rayhan. And who else?
My name is Raed.
Raed. Mashallah, Raed. Nice to see you, Raed. Mashallah. Oh, mashallah. Mashallah.
And your name?
My name is Zaidan. My name is Zaidan.
Zaidan, mashallah. 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 Do you have any questions or any comments? No. Okay. Okay. So, just for everybody, I'll be leaving inshallah tomorrow after Alaikum Salam. Yes. Yes, okay. Okay, we can say Assalamu alaikum, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka.